What if the biggest lie in your life isn't something someone told you? What if it's something you've believed for years, without ever questioning it? Think about it. Your opinions, your habits, your worldview, even your sense of who you are. How much of that is actually yours, and how much was handed to you before you were old enough to argue back? Here's something unsettling. Researchers at Duke University found that around 43% of what you do every day isn't a fresh decision, it's habit running on autopilot. That's not laziness, it's design. Your brain runs old programs to save energy, which means nearly half your life is driven by beliefs you set long ago and never checked. And it gets stranger. In a famous Stanford study, two groups were shown the exact same evidence on a heated topic. Instead of meeting in the middle, both sides walked away more convinced they were right. The facts didn't change their minds. Their beliefs changed how they saw the facts. Because the most dangerous virus in the world isn't a computer virus. It isn't even a biological one. It's a belief virus. Once it gets inside your mind, it shapes every decision you make, and you never feel it happening. But before we can understand how beliefs quietly control our lives, we need to answer a more fundamental question. Where do these beliefs come from in the first place? The hidden source of your beliefs. Here's how fast this happens. Princeton researchers found that your brain judges a stranger's face in about 1/10 of a second, and giving people more time barely changes that first judgment. It just makes them more confident in it. Your mind locks in fast, then spends years defending what it locked. The first truth is more uncomfortable than most people realize. Most beliefs are borrowed, not chosen. You didn't design your worldview from scratch. You absorbed it from your parents, your teachers, your friends, the town you grew up in. By the time you could think for yourself, most of your opinions were already installed. You just started defending them like they were yours. Another truth hides in plain sight. Your environment programs your reality. Two people can see the same event completely differently. Not because one is smart and one is dumb, but because they were shaped by different surroundings. Your environment quietly decides what feels normal and what feels impossible. Here's where your brain starts working against you. Your brain defends familiar ideas. It treats an old belief like a comfortable home, and anything that threatens it feels like an attack. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable clash when new facts hit old beliefs. Most people choose comfort over truth every time. And the final piece completes the puzzle. Repetition can feel like proof. Studies on the illusory truth effect found that simply repeating a statement, even a false one, makes people more likely to believe it. No new evidence appears. It just becomes familiar, and familiarity starts to feel true. But knowing where beliefs come from raises an even bigger question. If beliefs can be planted this easily, how do they spread from one person to millions without anyone noticing? How the belief virus spreads. Here's how powerful the crowd is. In the famous Asch experiments, people faced questions with obvious answers. But when a group around them confidently gave the wrong answer, about 75% of participants conformed at least once. We'd rather be wrong with the group than right alone. It all begins earlier than you think. Childhood shapes your mental operating system. In your early years, your brain soaks up everything with no filter. Your beliefs about money, love, and yourself were often written before you could even question them. Then the people around you quietly reinforce it. Social validation reinforces false ideas. When people nod along, a belief feels correct, even when it's wrong. Being accepted often matters more to us than being right. But today's world makes the process even faster. Media and algorithms amplify existing beliefs. Your feed doesn't show you the truth, it shows you more of what you already agree with. Every scroll pushes you deeper into your own bubble. And the most dangerous part is almost invisible. People trust the crowd more than reality. If enough people believe something, we assume it's true. But a loud crowd being wrong is still wrong. Spreading, though, is only half the story. But spreading is only half the story. The real danger begins when a belief stops being an idea and starts becoming the lens through which you see reality. When beliefs become mental prisons. Brain scans back this up. When researchers challenged people's strongest beliefs, Activity spiked in the regions tied to threat, and identity the same response you'd have if you were being personally attacked. That's why facts alone rarely change a made-up mind. The first change happens without you realizing it. You only notice what confirms your view. This is confirmation bias. Your brain acts like a bodyguard, letting in whatever agrees and blocking whatever doesn't. So you feel more certain while actually seeing less. Soon after, opposing ideas begin to feel personal. Contradictory evidence feels like a threat. Challenge a deep belief, and the person gets defensive fast. Your body treats a threat to your ideas like a threat to your life. Then, something even more dangerous happens. You become attached to being right. The belief stops being an idea you hold and becomes part of your identity. Now letting it go feels like losing yourself. And eventually, growth quietly comes to a halt. Growth stops the moment certainty begins. The second you decide you have the answer, you stop looking. And a mind that stops looking stops growing. At this point, you might be wondering something important. If false beliefs limit us this badly, why don't people simply let them go? The answer has much less to do with logic than most people think. Why people cling to wrong beliefs. There's a striking example. Researchers once followed a group that predicted the world would end on a set date. When the day passed and nothing happened, most didn't admit they were wrong. They believed even harder. That's how strong the pull to protect a belief can be. It starts with something deeply human. Admitting you're wrong feels painful. It bruises the ego. So people protect a comfortable lie instead of facing an uncomfortable truth. But fear makes the problem even worse. Uncertainty feels more dangerous than false certainty. Not knowing is scary, so the mind grabs any answer just to feel safe. A false map still beats no map at all. Then your social life quietly locks those beliefs in place. Beliefs often connect you to a tribe. Give up the belief, and you risk giving up the group. The fear of being cast out beats the desire for truth. And the final reason protects the entire illusion. Your ego protects ideas like survival depends on them. To your ego, being wrong feels like dying, so it fights and denies, not to find truth, but to stay in control. But here's where things become even more surprising. Not every belief virus feels harmful. Some of the most destructive ones actually feel completely normal. The most dangerous belief viruses. Research on mindset shows how real this is. Psychologist Carol Dweck found that students who believed their abilities could grow achieved more than equally smart students who believed talent was fixed. The belief itself, not the raw talent, shaped the result. The first one disguises itself as confidence. Believing you already know enough. It feels like confidence, but it's a locked door. The moment you think you know enough, you stop learning and fall behind. Another one quietly destroys your potential. Believing success isn't meant for people like you. This belief is a ceiling you can't see. You don't fail because you're incapable, you fail because you already decided it was impossible. Then comes the belief that steals your power. Blaming the world instead of yourself. When everything is someone else's fault, you feel innocent but powerless. A person who blames everything outside has no reason to change anything inside. And the last one sounds harmless, but costs people their future. Waiting for the perfect time to change. It sounds almost responsible, but later is where dreams quietly die. For most people, later never comes. So, how do you know whether your own beliefs are helping you grow or quietly holding you back? Fortunately, there's a way to test almost everything you think you know. How to test everything you think you know. There's a simple trick research says works. When people were asked to deliberately argue the opposite of their own view, their thinking became far less biased. Just forcing your mind to consider what if I'm wrong can break the spell. Start with the belief you protect the most. Question the beliefs you defend the most. The belief you defend hardest is the one you've examined least. So ask yourself honestly, what if I'm wrong about this? Then deliberately challenge your own thinking. Look for evidence that proves you wrong. Stop only reading what you already agree with. Go find the smartest people who disagree and actually listen. You're not doing it to lose, you're doing it to see clearly. Now separate facts from feelings. Follow evidence over emotion. A belief feeling good doesn't make it true. Ask, is this accurate? Instead of, does this feel nice? And finally, replace certainty with something far more powerful. Replace certainty with curiosity. Stop trying to be right and start trying to understand. A curious mind keeps growing. A certain mind stays frozen. So let's bring this together before you go. Your beliefs were mostly borrowed, not chosen. They spread through childhood, crowds, and algorithms, and quietly built prisons around how you see the world. You clung to them not because they were true, but because they felt safe. But here's the paradox. The smartest people aren't the ones sure they're right. They're the ones brave enough to discover where they're wrong. Every real breakthrough begins the moment someone questions what everyone else just accepts. So maybe the real question was never what if everything you believe is wrong. Maybe it's this: if just one of your beliefs is wrong, what else have you never thought to question? And that single question might be the cure for the belief virus. If this video made you see your own mind differently, drop a like so it reaches more people. Share it with someone holding on to a belief that's holding them back. And subscribe to the channel, because here, we break down the hidden forces that quietly run your life. Then tell me in the comments, what's one belief you held for years that later turned out to be completely wrong? I'll be reading them. I'll see you in the next one.